Hi kids, I'm Miss Sarah. This is Hemingway. Welcome back to the Kids Table. Today we're going to talk about praying. So when I was a kid in church, the only way we would pray was like this. Bow your head and close your hands. And I remember thinking, what am I supposed to say? And I'm much better about it now, because now I know it really doesn't matter what you say. You're just having a conversation with God, because God is your friend. But I found a couple of ideas online that might be helpful for you. So I found this image that I'll have Mark put up on the video. And it's called the 5-finger praying hand. And you use your fingers and your thumb to remember different parts of prayer that you can use. Again, you can do these in any order. You can leave some out, whatever feels comfortable for you. So on the pinky, we have petition, which means that you're going to God to ask for things for yourself. Ask for help with things, ask for patience, ask for peace. Now, we don't ask God for things like Santa Claus. Remember, God's not Santa Claus. We're not asking him for toys. We're not asking him for those kind of things. We're asking him to help us or help us with our feelings, help us with our actions, okay? Our ring finger is going to be confession. So this is where we tell God things that we made mistakes on. We ask for God's forgiveness on things that we know we shouldn't have done. It's kind of like apologizing to God for things that you know you shouldn't have done. Middle finger, we have intercession. This is where we pray for others. So this is where you would ask for God to help people that you love in your life. And you ask him to help with maybe some healing of people that are sick, or help your friends who are hurting with their feelings. So that's where you would ask God for help with that. Your pointer finger is thanksgiving. This is where we say thank you to God for all the blessings in our life. We thank God for our loving families. We thank God for our health. This is the reminder to thank God for that. And then our thumb is praise. And the nice thing about the thumb is it touches all the fingers. So with all the things that we pray to God about, we want to remember to give God praise for who he is and how wonderful he is. All right, so that's a little trick here. And then another thing to remember, and interestingly enough, I used to be a teacher at an all-girls Catholic school. And so I had to teach religion sometimes. And one of the things that we taught one time was different postures of prayer, different ways that you see people praying in the Bible. So again, like I said, I learned to bow my head and close my hands. And now I know that that's important because I am not as distracted. I'm not distracted with my hands and I'm not distracted with my eyes. I'm focused on my prayer. So that's a good way to do it. But there are some other ways that we see in the Bible. We see people standing. We see people lifting or stretching their hands. You'll see this sometimes in churches where people have their hands up while they're praising God in worship. You can do, this with your hands. This is kind of how I pray now as a grown-up. And I feel the presence of God when I do this. When I have my eyes closed and my hands open, praying to God this way. Another thing that we see in the Bible is putting our eyes upward and looking. So again, oftentimes we close our eyes so that we're not distracted, but in the Bible, we do hear about people looking upward, like putting your eyes towards the heavens. Sitting, especially on the ground outside, and you're grounding yourself into the earth, and you can sometimes feel closer to God that way. In Psalms, we have somebody praying laying on their bed. So in a place where you're resting at night before you're going to sleep, that's a good place to pray. Before bed, when I was a kid, we would kneel. We would go on our knees and we would pray on the side of our bed. So kneeling is always one that you can do. You can get down on your knees and pray to God. You can write. Writing is a great way to pray. You can have a little notebook or a little journal and you can write your prayers down to God. And you can do those in any way that you want. You could do a list, you could do a poem, whatever feels good for you. And walking is another thing. If you're on like a quiet walk where you're not distracted, you can do your walks while you're doing that, especially in nature when you're on a hike with your family. That would be a good time to pray. So I just wanted to give you some tools today on how to pray, some different ideas other than just sitting still and quiet and bowing your head and clasping your hands. So I hope you're having a great week and we'll see you later at the kids table. Bye.